Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's session. My name is Yavar Kitabi. I am a workload automations consultant at VPMA, specializing in Control M. And this is going to be a migration to Helix Control M SaaS presentation. So, if you're an existing Control M customer and you are thinking about migrating to our Helix Control M SaaS solution, then you may find this demo presentation useful. Let's start by going over the difference in architecture. With Control M, we have three main components: the Control M Enterprise Manager, the Control M Server, and the Control M Agents. Connection to the Control M clients and automation API is over HTTP, HTTPS, and internally the Control M components communicate over TCP IP. So in the traditional model, you're hosting and managing these components within your network along with the connectivity between them. Helix Control M keeps the same agent execution model, but moves the enterprise manager and the Control M server layer into a BMC managed SaaS tenant in the cloud. The Helix Control M tenant hosts the scheduling engine, the web client, and the automation API, and is operated and maintained by BMC. The Control M agents remain installed on customer servers and connect securely to the SaaS tenant over HTTPS, and these agents can be deployed on-prem across different public clouds or in containerized environments depending on where the workload runs. And on top of these agents, supported Control M plugins can be installed to enable native integrations with the many applications, databases, cloud services, and platforms that Control M supports. Because Helix Control M is delivered as a fully managed SaaS solution, it directly eliminates many of the traditional on-prem Control M pain points around infrastructure, availability, maintenance, and ongoing operational overhead. On the left-hand side here, we can see with traditional Control M, high availability and disaster recovery are entirely customer managed. If you want high availability, you're deploying additional enterprise managers, additional servers, replicated databases, and the supporting hardware and virtual infrastructure to go with it. Disaster recovery is also something customers must design and operate themselves, including database replication, data synchronization procedures, and disaster recovery testing. The database layer is another key factor in on-prem Control M. The database can be embedded or external, but either way, it's owned, sized, patched, backed up, and supported by the customer. Now, on the right hand side, all of these responsibilities shift over to BMC. The SaaS tenant is deployed across three AWS availability zones, providing built in high availability and a 99.95% SLA for production tenants and a 99.9% for non production. Disaster recovery is also automated and transparent. Failover between availability zones happen without customer intervention for both the application services and tenant data. And the database on Helix Control M is a fully managed, highly available Amazon Aurora RDS, isolated per tenant with automated backups handled by BMC. Again, on the left-hand side, with traditional Control M on-prem, customers are responsible for installing and configuring enterprise managers, servers, and applying upgrades and fix packs and planning maintenance windows for patching. The same applies for the Control M client. The Windows client must be installed, upgraded, and maintained for the end users. And on top of that, customers are responsible for database maintenance when external and operating system patching and managing HTTPS and SSL configurations, both for client access and for agent communications. Again, with Helix Control M, these responsibilities shift over to BMC. The SaaS tenant is hosted, maintained, and upgraded by BMC, and it's ready to use on day one. Upgrades and patches are applied automatically to the tenant without customer downtime or planning. And Helix Control M uses a browser based web client, so there is no need to install or upgrade locally. New plugins are automatically available as part of the service, and the database and supporting components are cloud hosted with no configuration or maintenance required by the customer. From a security standpoint, HTTPS is pre-configured with signed certificates, and agent communication is securely over HTTPS by default. These are some of the main benefits customers see when moving from on-prem Control M to Helix Control M SaaS. Again, on the left-hand side, we can see what's typically required in an on-prem model. We have infrastructure design, server provisioning, software installation, high availability and disaster recovery planning, security security configuration, and ongoing monitoring and daily housekeeping and periodic upgrades. With Helix Control M, the entire infrastructure layer is abstracted away. Customers can focus on just the few core activities such as provisioning users, deploying agents, and building jobs and workflows. The key shift here is moving from managing infrastructure to enabling innovation. Instead of spending time maintaining the platform, teams can deliver automation value faster, scale more easily, and significantly reduce operational overhead. Let's take a look at some different architecture examples for different migration scenarios. In this case, we have a production Control M environment with an enterprise manager and one or more Control M servers. We have a pre-prod environment and a development/testing environment. In Helix Control M, your production environment would be migrated to a production tenant, which all of your agents can connect to. And similarly, with your pre-prod and development environments, they would also be migrated to their own respective pre-prod and sandbox tenants. Now imagine if we had high availability configured for Control M where we need to have multiple instances of the Enterprise Manager and Control M servers installed using the same shared database. Helix Control M guarantees high availability, so your production environment will still be mapped to a single production tenant. Now let's say you also have a disaster recovery data center and you replicate the Control M data periodically. Again, this would be mapped to a single Control M tenant, which would be maintained by BMC as we provide the infrastructure for both high availability and disaster recovery solutions. With Helix Control M, availability and maintenance are delivered as part of the SaaS solution, so customers get clear SLAs, visibility, support coverage, and predictable upgrades. Helix Control M provides a 99.95% availability for production tenants, and that's no more than 4 hours of total unplanned downtime per year. There's also a status page to check your environment's health and to subscribe to notifications for service events. We also have BMC support available, which is in place to help ensure SLA performance and respond in case any issues occur. And finally, for maintenance upgrades, BMC provides a 3-week notification for planned maintenance, so upgrades are predictable and communicated well in advance. Along with availability and maintenance, security and data privacy are foundational to how Helix Control M is delivered as a SaaS platform. All communications in Helix Control M, including agent, web, and automation API connectivity, is secured over HTTPS. User access is managed through your existing identity providers using SAML 2.0, such as Okta, so authentication aligns with enterprise security standards. The platform leverages AWS security components with 100% tenant isolation to ensure customer environments remain fully operated. And tenant data is stored in a secure, fault-tolerant database hosted on Amazon RDS, and all the data is encrypted and secured by BMC. From a privacy standpoint, the only potential PII stored is the user email address. And to build on that, this slide shows how security is enforced end-to-end in Helix Control M through multiple layered controls. So all access into Helix Control M enters through HTTPS endpoints, whether that's the web portal, automation API, or agent communication. At the edge, traffic is protected by application firewall, followed by CloudFront edge nodes for secure ingress. Authentication is handled through SAML 2.0 for users, while API tokens and agent tokens secure programmatic and agent-based access. From there, requests are enforced through namespace and network isolation, and finally, application level authorization, ensuring each tenant and user only has access to what they're permitted to see and nothing else. Helix Control M is accessed entirely through a web based client, so there's no local software to install or maintain. Users simply log in through a web browser to design, monitor, and manage workflows from anywhere with the same functionality previously tied to the thick clients. This also means updates and new capabilities are automatically available as part of the tenant without user sided upgrades or downtime. Helix Control M comes with over 100 pre built integration plugins that allow you to orchestrate end to end workflows across applications, platforms, and cloud without custom scripting. These plugins extend Control M beyond traditional batch scheduling and into full application and data workflow orchestration. They're installed on top of your Control M agents and allow native integration across major domains, including, for example, ERP systems such as SAP and Oracle, databases, file transfer, and object storages such as SFTP, Amazon S3, and Azure Blob. We have cloud and data platform plugins, including AWS, Azure, GCP, Snowflake, and Databricks, and even plugins for Power BI, Automation Anywhere, and Airflow. When you put these integrations together, Control M becomes the orchestration layer that connects everything, not just individual jobs, but full application workflows. That's where application workflow orchestration comes in. With Helix Control M, workflows are defined and monitored centrally, even when execution spans across multiple platforms, tools, and clouds. You can orchestrate complex, multi step workflows, for example, extracting data from a dataset, transferring a file to a cloud storage, running cloud native processes or analytics, refreshing BI dashboards, triggering machine learning jobs, and even enforcing SLAs across the entire flow. All of this is visible in a single view with end to end monitoring and SLA awareness. If you are interested in migrating to Helix Control M SaaS, we follow a simple, structured analysis process to make sure the migration is feasible. We start with a pre qualification questionnaire where we gather key details about your Control M environment to understand the scope, complexity, and requirements. Next, we extract data from your existing environment. This gives us accurate visibility into peak and average workloads, execution patterns, and overall usage. We then use the Control M migration tool in validation mode, which analyzes all in scope environments and produces a detailed qualification report. This helps identify any gaps, constraints, or special considerations up front. And finally, we consolidate everything into a Helix proposal and total cost of ownership comparison, showing you how Helix Control M compares to your self hosted Control M environment. Of course, the goal of this process is simple, it's to remove uncertainty and ensure a successful migration before anything is moved. So when we put everything together, Helix Control M isn't about choosing between Control M and SaaS. It's about getting the best of both worlds. On the left, you still get everything Control M is known for, end-to-end application workflow automation. You can build, define, schedule, and monitor complex production workflows with all of the enterprise capabilities customers rely on today, such as SLA management, managed file transfers, site standards, and governance. Control M remains technology agnostic. It integrates across your DevOps toolchain and supports job as code through APIs. So automation fits naturally into modern development practices. And you also gain actionable insights, allowing teams to simplify complex data pipelines and manage file transfers in a secure, auditable way. On the right hand side, Helix brings in the best of SaaS. That means faster time to innovation, minimal onboarding, and the ability to scale on demand and automatic access to new capabilities without waiting on upgrades. You also see a significantly improved total cost of ownership, no infrastructure to maintain, no upgrades to plan, and far less operational overhead. And finally, everything is built with security and compliance at the core, encryption by default, site standards out of the box, and native integration with your existing IDP and SSO. So with Helix Control M, customers don't lose what makes Control M powerful. They gain the agility, simplicity, and the speed of SaaS on top of it. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of this Helix migration presentation. I hope you guys have found this presentation useful. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me personally, and I'd be happy to cover any particular topics in more detail. Thank you.